What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in today again for another episode here on Airbnb Rental Empire. Let me start by saying I really appreciate all you guys as new subscribers, all the comments, questions, the likes, all that stuff is appreciated. Keep it coming. I'm here to help you guys. What I want to talk about today is how you guys can get into the Airbnb business with no money and also no risk. And how you're going to do that, the basic premise is you're going to do your value proposition to the owner is you're going to do a profit split with them. Now, I don't do profit splits because there's a little bit less money involved. I have done them in the past, but now I have the capital so that I can finance my properties and I don't need to do that. But in your case, if you don't have any properties and you don't have any experience, you're going to have to add value to the homeowner in terms of why they should work with you. And so, in my opinion, the profit split is the best way to do that to get your foot in the door since you don't have any experience. And also, if you don't have any money, it's also a very good thing because you're not going to need any money, and I'm going to show you how that works. So the first thing with the profit split, one of the benefits is you're not going to need a security deposit. That's a major expense of mine when I'm getting new properties are the security deposits. Every homeowner asks for something different, and depending how much I like the property, then sometimes I'll walk away from properties because I'm not comfortable with the security deposit or it's just not really worth it to me. So the security deposit is the first thing that you're going to be able to bypass because in a profit split, the homeowner is still going to be in control and you're just going to be operating it. You're going to be essentially the property manager. You're going to be the one that runs it. So now you have the security deposit, which is a major expense, and you're not going to have to pay that. Now, you're going to get with some homeowners, they're still going to want some sort of a security deposit. They're going to be a little bit worried about the property getting trashed. So like we had talked about in some of the other videos, the first thing is you're going to explain to them that the whole business model is based on, the property being kept in good shape, and it's all predicated on that. So your interests are aligned. They're worried about their property. You're also worried about their property. That's the first thing. But if they still want a security deposit, then what I would propose to them, which is, there's going to be different levels here on all this stuff in terms of how accommodating you want to be to the owner to get the property or not as accommodating. Perhaps to a little bit more to your benefit. This first part with the security deposit, what you can offer to them is you could offer them, say, I'm just going to throw this number out there. You can say you're going to pay out of the gross profits for the first, let's just say you're going to pay $200 flat per month off of the gross rental revenue before your profit split. So if the property brings in $2,000 a month, you're going to have a fraction of that, but you're going to say $200 of that is going to go into a security deposit fund up until you fund it to a certain amount. So you can say, okay, the homeowner wants $2,000. So you say, okay, you're going to take $200 per month for 10 months until that security deposit is financed. So I'm just throwing those numbers out there. Everybody's property is going to be a little bit different based on the value of what you're renting. If you're only paying $1,000 a month for the property, your security deposit is going to be smaller, etc. Homeowners are going to want different security deposits. So you can play with that number, but that's just something, a ballpark that's giving you a starting point in terms of what you can offer them. And that's even if they need that security deposit. I think in most cases you're going to be able to get away from it because you're only the operator and they're still technically in control of the property. Now, the second thing that is going to be amazing for you in terms of where you don't need any money again, and you're still going to be in control and you're still going to, create revenue for yourself, you're still going to earn income for yourself, is you're going to get the homeowner to buy the furniture. And the idea there is also, again, you're just the operator of the property. They're still technically in control of it. You're coming in to add value to them to get them more revenue than what they would get ordinarily renting it. When I say they're going to buy the furniture, now, I want you to pick the furniture in 90% of the cases, unless you have a pre-furnished property that looks good, and you think you're going to have to make a judgment call based on how it looks in the photos and put yourself in the position of a traveler. If they have furniture already and it's furnished, you're going to run into these. I run into these. Sometimes they've already been running an Airbnb before unsuccessfully. Usually, if it's unsuccessful, they did a bad job with the furnishing. So I don't want that stuff anyways, or at least most of it. So you're going to get them to buy the furniture, but you want to be in control of it and you want to purchase the furniture yourself. So that's going to be through creating an Amazon list cost and then sharing that with them and having them purchase it directly so that you don't have to pay for it. Now, the alternative, which is going to be a lot easier, is going to be, I'm assuming, in this case, I'm assuming that you have access to some credit, you have credit cards or some capital. You're just going to buy the furniture and you're going to save the receipts and you're going to give that to the homeowner and they're going to reimburse you for it. So they're going to write you, let's say you spent $3,000, let's say you spent $4,000 in setup costs. They're going to reimburse you the $4,000 so that you've been paid up front. Yes, you did spot it, you advanced it for, a couple of weeks or whatever it is, but they're ultimately paying for it. And then what you're going to do from that point forward is you're going to tell them, yes, they're paying for the furniture, but then what you're going to do is you're going to offer them a reimbursement of the furniture until that's been paid back. So again, the idea is here, you don't have any Airbnbs, so you're trying to offer things to the homeowner that's going to be enticing for them to get into this, into this business with you. And so what I would do is I would say they get 100% of the gross rental revenue on top of what they're asking. So let's say they're asking $2,000 a month as the rent, and let's say you bring in $4,000 in gross rental revenue. You're going to give them 100% of that. So they're going to get $2,000 from the first month on top of what they're asking, and that's going to go towards the furniture. You spent $4,000 on furniture, they're going to get $2,000 of that reimbursed month one, and then let's just say for simplicity, these numbers, let's say you get that same $4,000 in gross rental revenue month two, now you've paid them back and everything is free and clear. They've had the furniture paid for, you didn't have to pay for it, and now you guys are, now the ball is rolling and you guys are moving forward. And now what does that look like? So after you've had the furniture has been paid for, now you're going to go into where you're going to actually make your money, which is the end goal here, of course. Now you're going to go into the profit split portion. So what I would do is I would offer them 75-25 or an 80-20 split. You're going to have to make a decision on that based on how much expected income you get, how much you're willing to work for. That's going to be different for everybody. Everybody's financial situation is going to be a little bit different. 75-25 meaning the owner is going to get 75% and you're going to get 25%. Now that is 25% of the gross rental revenue. So that is the top line gross rental revenue. So if there's $10,000 a month in gross rental revenue, you're going to get $2,500 of that. Or if it's 80-20, you're going to get $2,000 of that. And so now what does the structure of that look like? This means that you're going to be operating everything. So you're proposing this to the homeowner where you are operating everything, you're taking care of everything, and they're just being the benefactors and they're just going to reap the rewards in terms of getting more money than what they were asking for on the rent. So the idea here again is that you don't have any experience and you need to provide value to the homeowner. So you're providing value to the homeowner by taking everything off of the plate in terms of what they would have to do for an Airbnb, because they're going to be solely the benefactor of increased rental revenue. You're not going to bother them with any of the stuff in pertaining to an Airbnb because they don't want that. They want your proposition is that you're going to be an ordinary tenant essentially, but they're going to get more money out of it. After you've explained that part of it, what you're going to do is you are going to give them a payout at the end of every month, and that's going to be off of the gross rental revenue less your percentage. So like I explained before, if it's $10,000 a month, you're going to take your percentage off of the top, and then they're going to get the remaining amount. Again, I can't stress this enough. The important thing is that you have to make sure that they know they're not going to have to deal with anything. That is the main value proposition for you, is you are adding value to them. They're going to get more money without having to do more work. Now, with that being said, how does this work out well for you? So even in slower months, you're going to get a piece of the gross rental revenue off the top. So if the rental revenue is only $5,000 per month, you're going to get, if you're assuming you get 25%, you're going to get $1,250. Then when the months are good, summer months, busy travel season, whatever, you're going to get a percentage of that. So no matter what, you're going to get paid. Now, another important part of this that I want you to incorporate into this, which shouldn't be very much of an issue in terms of getting it negotiated, is you're going to tell the homeowner that you also want to have an option to operate for at least 2 additional years. So the initial contract is going to be for 1 year operating, the 1 year of you managing the Airbnb, you running everything. You're also going to put in there that you have a 1 year option at the end of year 1 to continue, and then you're going to have another one end of year 2. Now, that option is going to be contingent upon the homeowner receiving at least 10% more than the rental revenue of what they were asking. So if they were asking $2,000 a month, over the course of the year, they need to have averaged at least $2,200 a month. That's going to give them incentive to allow you to have that option, because they're making more money than they would have in an ordinary situation, and now you're going to have the ability to continue to operate over a couple years, because you don't want to do all this just to have the rug pulled out from under you after 1 year. So for instance, I've had this situation recently, with a couple properties where the homeowner rented to me, and then for various reasons, one of them, he wants to remodel it and add square footage to it and move into it. So I've only had that one for about a year. It's quite annoying. I'm making money on it and I'm happy with it, but now I have to move out of it. So I started about a year ago, right? He was actually that was one of the last properties where I didn't get the options baked into it. But now I do it with all the different properties. I make sure that I have at least a 1-year option, on mine, in most cases, even a 2-year option. Now, if you follow all those steps right there, now the best part about this is now you're going to get a property with no money out of pocket. You're going to earn money every single month, and you actually don't have any risk associated with it, because if the property brings in $0, it's not going to cost you anything. If the property brings in $10,000, you're going to make money. So you have unlimited upside, but you have limited downside. The limited downside is you have to do some work do some Airbnb property management for no money, assuming nobody shows up, which is very unlikely. But if nobody shows up, you're not going to be doing much work anyways. And now what you've done is you've obtained your first property. Now you have real world experience, and now you're going to be able to go to other homeowners in the future, and you're going to hopefully be able to have a referral, and you're going to now be able to negotiate better terms in the future, and you're going to be able to get other properties easier in the future, obviously, because now you have real world experience that you can tell other people about, and you can use that to your advantage. This has been a stumbling block, I think, for a lot of people, is to initially get their foot in the door, and how do they get started. And a lot of that, which I've talked about before, is people's risk aversion and their thoughts on perceived risk and that sort of thing. So now what we've done here is we've taken out basically all of the risk for you. So now you can get into the Airbnb business without any money and without any risk other than a little bit of your time. And if you want to get ahead in life or in anything, you're going to have to take some risk to reap those rewards. If you guys like this video, please subscribe. I appreciate all you guys. Any comments, I will definitely do my best to answer them. And I will be back with more information for you guys in the next week. See you guys soon.